Thank you so much. I'm so excited to have all of you here. Welcome to Ladies Takeover Empowerment Podcast, where we're all about helping you to succeed and become the very best version of yourself. I'm so super excited to have all of you here. This is our first time doing a live taping, a live recording with a studio audience. So we're super excited. And so on tonight, you guys, I want to hear you cheers. Say on tonight.
On tonight.
Say it one more time. Say on tonight.
On tonight.
We have a special guest. And so I want to bring to the stage none other than Miss Grace Jackson. Hi, my dear. How are you? I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for flying across the world to come and share this special moment with me and all of my special friends on tonight. We're so excited to have you.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited.
I know you are. So let's jump right in. So I want you to tell the world and everyone that is watching and listening just a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Grace Jackson, and I happen to be blessed to be related to our wonderful host here.
Absolutely.
But I live in Michigan, and I have a background in psychology and counseling, and I work with adolescents in the criminal justice system. I love working with youth, and I like to have fun, with kids as well to help to keep kind of young. So
I understand. And so if you ever see her out and about, she is nothing to play around with. So she's not just working with adolescents, but your recent promotion, you are what?
I'm a probation officer.
Yes, she's a PO. Yes. So she be posting them up against the wall. She be doing it all. Tell us what a typical day looks like for you. So you say you've been doing this for 30 years. You just made this transition into this new position. So what does a typical day look like for you?
Well, it really varies. I have a caseload of approximately 30 kids and families. And so I visit them in the community. Sometimes at school. Sometimes they come into my office. Sometimes we may have court hearings. There's a lot of variations, that take place with it. But on a typical Monday, usually I start out seeing how the weekend went. So I'm going to go in on the CMS school and, just go and visit them, talk to the principal and, catch up with them on their weekend, that kind of thing. Like I said, I also go to court hearings for them. So I'm responsible. I'm actually an officer of the court, which kind of scared. At the end of the day, I'm responsible just to update the court on how they've been doing since, they were last in front of them. And it really, is really about establishing, maintaining relationships, with the young people, while I'm responsible to make sure that they adhere to guidelines and things that are set up by the court. At the same time, too, really my goals and my purpose is to try to help them to figure out how they can make better steps, in their life so they can not have to have a continuing relationship with the court. But it can consist of meetings where I'm meeting the family, getting to know them, putting together what's called a social history, just asking them about everything. So it really depends. I have kids that are in the community. I have kids that are in residential placement. I actually had a young man that was placed out of state. So I would once a month take a trip, to another state to go visit him. So it really kind of depends. It fluctuates. Sometimes I get, crazy calls from families that are like, so-and-so doing such and such, so.
Absolutely. This year, at our ministry, we are actually in a season called realignment. And not only that, but within our global organization that we have, we are in a year called activation or activate. So we are in this season where we are doing activate. And so it's really important to have women who are doing things, who are motivated, who are helping in the community. And so what I want to know from you is, What does a day look like for you? So, how do you prepare when you have all of these adolescent children who are bringing all their crazy to you? How do you not take that home with you and be stressful and continue to maintain a godly lifestyle? So, what do you do to prepare yourself before you even step into this role of what it is that you have to do every single day?
Well, honestly, for me, it started a long time ago. Like I said, I've been in the field for almost 30 years. And so initially it was really, really, really hard because there's a lot of things that we deal with. And so one of the things that I had to make sure is that I have the right kind of outlet. I'm a Christian. Obviously, for me, one of those things means making sure that I ask the Lord to cover me. And, because there's a lot of things that we deal with that we could take home, but to make sure that I have the right kinds of relationships and balance on the job as well as, at home. So, like I said, I start, just Lord cover me. Yeah, this thing, may I walk the steps that you call me walk. May I have the impact on the lives that I have to touch today that would give you glory and not me. So it's a balancing kind of thing. I remember having a conversation early on with someone, and he told me, he said, one of the best things that I learned in the beginning was to be firm, fair, and to be friendly in that order. Jessica, and to not second guess, the things that you have to do. But I really, really believe that, because I'm also a worshiper and I love, music is start my day with, worship and with music. So everywhere I am, that's what's going on. Even in my office, our walls are paper thin, so I have to put, the AirPods in. But there's always a song in my spirit, and so that I think that that's key because our mindset is what shapes the steps that we take. Absolutely, that comes, along with all of those things. And so for me, that's really, really key because I don't live by myself now, but once upon a time I did. And so, those of us that have an opportunity to be completely by yourself, you don't have to worry about it. It's almost like, take care of this last night. Did you, wake up and the garbage is still not taken, and so starting your day, making sure that your mind is in the right place, regardless of what you're facing, is really, really key. And so, devotions are very, very important, as well. And they don't always happen the same kind of way. Yeah. Sometimes, you have the opportunity to stop it, to take time, but at the same time too, it may be as I'm walking in the door a lot of times and I'm looking at what the day has in store, I'm asking special covering for this family, because like I said, the families have so many things that a lot of us will even know how to begin to deal. Right. We might have wisdom to handle it and to manage this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's really, really good. So tell me, through these 30 years that you have dealt in this system with all these adolescent youth who at times are troubled, their families are troubled, tell me what challenges have shaped you and how did you grow from them?
I think one of the biggest things is to learn never to take it personal, because everybody is dealing with what's going on with their life. And it's easy sometimes especially because people look at me, so I'm the system. And even though the goal is to help, that's not how they see it a lot of the times, So the challenges have been to be able to connect, to figure out it's not always about being right, because especially in the position that I'm in now, I have a lot of authority over people's lives, which is scary. So just making sure that I'm making a decision that makes the most sense. And it's not about, well, you kind of tick me off, so I'm going to make you sit in the locker a little bit longer. Those kinds of things that are just, everything builds, you know what I mean? So just learning to really try to be as authentic and genuine and real. And when something doesn't make sense, to say, hey, look, this don't make sense to me either. This is what we are. This is how we have to try to manage the situation, and so knowing when to, how and when to say certain things and how to balance things out, because sometimes I have to tell them, look, I understand exactly what you go through. I know what you're saying. Because other folks out there ain't trying to do the same thing. Come on. To really help them understand that I'm here to help. And sometimes they get it and sometimes they don't get it. But understanding the balance, because at the same time, I do have a responsibility and I do have, a job to do. And I have people to answer to as well, but to make sure that I can be an advocate as well, I think is a challenge that I've been learning how to navigate more and more, and especially in the new role that I have.
Got you. That makes sense. And I think that you hit on something that's key is that it doesn't look like help, but it is help, right? And so when it's not help, how do you help them see that it is help? Because a lot of times, even with dealing with my own children, when I'm trying to explain to them that, listen, I said no because I love you, or I'm setting boundaries because I love you, it's hard for them to really understand or comprehend at the time what that means or what that looks like. So how do you maneuver through those situations so that at the end of the day, you feel like you have outcomes that look successful and that aren't failures for you? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah, I think if I understand what you're saying, sometimes everybody's not at the same place. So everybody's not always open and they don't always want to understand. So sometimes really I just say, excuse me, if you want me out of your life, then you got to get this done. Plain and simple.
That's good.
But then there are others where it's like, look, you had a lot of challenges. Like I had a young man, 16 years old, brand new father, didn't have any support. And he had all of these things that he was supposed to be doing. And he wasn't doing any. And what he was doing was trying to take care of that baby. And so I said, look, you're doing exactly what you should be doing. I get that you need to do all these other things, but at the end of the day, what I was able to do is to have a conversation with his hearing officer and say, look, and so fortunately that worked out in his favor, but it doesn't always.
Gotcha.
And so knowing when, just because the court is involved and there's things that need to happen, they don't always need to happen.
Understood.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I have one last question for you. And then I think that we have someone in the audience that would like to ask you a question. So I'll let them do that. What does success look like for you, and not what others expect from you?
Success with the families.
Anything in life in general, what does that look like for you, especially since you've been going down this path? You've changed recently in your position in life. So yeah, let's go with life. What does success look like for you in life right now?
I think that that's a big challenge because there's a lot of chaos out here. That's up to make sure that there's not a lot of chaos in here. To me, that creates an opportunity for greater success, because if I can be at peace within me, then I can hear clearer.
Gotcha.
I can deal better than those that I come into contact with, as opposed to trying to keep up with all of these other things that are going on, which they create distractions of things. So I think being able to focus on the right things. And as I get older, recognizing that I don't want to be a part of everything else that everybody else is doing. I think as I've got older, I recognize that it's okay to be by yourself. It's okay to, not be a part of, this party over here. I'm good with not getting in. You know what I mean? And so just being okay with, this is what I really want to do. I heard your father one time talk about false humility that always stuck with me. And he said a lot of times people are asking, do you want this? No, I'm good. No, do you? No. He said, no, you do want that. And so being honest with yourself, I think, is the biggest thing that creates success, for me, because then I'm like, I can be content that I make a decision. If I want that extra piece of cake before I eat that, or if I want to go to this trip and nobody else is going, I'm going to go because I would like to go, and then the Lord will bless, in those situations. So I think just being able to be content and comfortable, with yourself.
Absolutely. Great answer. Great answer. Let's give it up for Grace. Wonderful job. Wonderful job. Thank you so much. So we have someone in the audience. Please tell us your name, and then you can ask Grace your question.
My name is Keisha Williams. Grace, I have a question. Were there any pivotal moments or turning points in your journey?
I think one of the biggest ones was one of the more recent ones. Like I said, I just recently accepted a new position, and I've been kind of discontent for quite some time. I love the environment. I love working with kids and with the families, but at the same time, it was not a challenge anymore. And so just stacking out on faith to shift slightly has made all the difference in the world for me. It's been about 14 months now, and I really, really enjoy what I'm doing. I'm learning a lot. I'm challenged, and I feel like I'm making a better impact now with this season of my life as the other one that shifted. So
Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, tell us, are there resources that if someone is having a troubled youth or someone, are there resources or places that we can go so when people go on the screen, we can put it down at the bottom of the screen so that people can see if they're having issues with their youth, their child, young teens, preteens, things of that nature? What should someone do? How do they reach like your department or in the areas of that? I know they wouldn't contact you specifically, but who would they contact?
Well, every kid that I'm involved with is involved at the court.
Okay.
Fortunately, that means that they broke the laws.
Okay.
Not as if a parent or an organization can simply just refer them.
Gotcha.
I work for Oakland County in Michigan, and so they can go to the Oakland County website, and there are a lot of different resources that are available there, counseling services, references, those kinds of things to help point people in the right direction before they get involved in work.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I thank all of you for being here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Ladies Takeover Empowerment Podcast. See you next time.